All right, so I'm sitting here again with Mark Linao. Mark, how are you today?
Great.
Yeah, doing all right.
Yeah, haven't had a lot of sleep to be quite
You do.
candid.
I'm going to admit you do look a little bit tired. So it's good to know the VCs actually get tired.
Yeah, I mean, I think like when before you get this job, you think that it's like Shark Tank and you just sit there and everyone just comes to you.
I assume you're just sitting on a perch, just saying no to people
Just
left and
drinking,
right.
yeah, drinking coffee and water, but yeah, no, it's you have to chase stuff, deal with legal, deal with contracts, founder meltdowns,
So
other VC meltdowns.
juicy. So did you have a meltdown this week? Was there a big meltdown?
No, I'm just saying that could be a time suck. But it's the job, I think, of a VC to be an ear, whether it's like a personal problem that they're going through.
Walk us through your week. Like what happened?
Let's see. What?
Or give us a day this week. Like yesterday. Like walk me through your day yesterday. Like why was it crazy?
Let's see. So doing diligence on a few companies, trying to, because of the time allocation, I'm trying to actually onboard and figure out how to onboard an intern. So thinking about how to case the intern and how much time he should be spending. And then there are a few companies I talked with about their next financing round. So, you know, you do you put all that together, and then I had to go to an event. I had to go to another event tonight, but going to like an event or meetup after work, for example, at the end of the day, you're like, wow, it's already 11 p.m. And
So all right. So it sounds like there's a diligence component to what you're doing. Like you're checking into companies, you're following up, making sure to see if like this is going to happen, like if you're going to seal the deal
yeah,
with
so
somebody.
checking, yeah, so diligence in terms of are we going to make an investment or not, taking initial calls. So if I take more than 4 of those per day, then that really leaves me only with like less than half the day to actually do real other work, right? Because like each meeting is like an hour or so.
What is a VC's real work?
Zing. Yeah, yeah. So I think for me the real work is getting. I heard, it's super interesting. I heard this one of my friends. He's a VC as well, and he was like, you need to be spending more time with your founders and not other people's founders, not other VCs founders. And I was like, that's so enlightening. You're right. So I'm trying to get like a bunch of things from the companies that we've already invested in on like how to help them.
So spending time with, I mean, because for every deal that you say yes to, you've probably said no to, I don't know, I'm guessing like 300, 400, 500.
Yeah, maybe like, yeah, it's like a 2%, right? Like rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, something
So
like that.
if you've already chosen them, then the idea is you should be spending your time with them
Yeah, exactly.
because it's probably a better investment of your time than to keep spending time looking at all of these 98% of companies that don't mean anything to you.
Yep, exactly. But at the same time, you have to be. It's just such an interesting job because you have to be founder friendly, and at the same time, these you never know where the next new deal is going to come from, and you should be respectful to a founder because they're putting everything on the line, and trying to raise money. And we're obviously at a easier position because we get a salary, and we also we have investors, but we're not, I'm not involved with like raising my own fund yet. I've never done that. So, but I guess I'll probably know what that feels like if I ever do raise my own fund. But yeah.
Are you going to raise your own fund?
Probably not. I don't know. We'll see.
So
Yeah, we'll see.
So it sounds like half your day is spent like chasing deals, half your day is spent like managing your existing deals,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're spending time like looking out for new stuff, like being friendly, being part of the network, sitting down with chance bending.
Yep,
It's all part of the game.
It's all part of the game. Yeah, and then a lot of the time is reading and reading up on current trends. I spend so much time on Twitter; it's crazy.
Is that your tool of choice, Twitter right now?
It's one of. I mean, I use Twitter. Follow a lot of interesting people. There's obviously a lot of email subscriptions that that I have in my inbox, and just need to read what's going on, and then I look at business news because I kind of want to understand what's going on, you know, macro macro wise.
When you say that, does that mean tech news or does that mean like world news, like Trump news sort of stuff?
It's a little bit of both, but I would say skewed more tech news. Yeah. But we have to we have to know what's going on, right? Like socially, we're kind of investing in things that are on the brink of uh, a change in consumer behavior. So it's important to read the other stuff.
So when you're scouting, would you call it scouting Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because Twitter does, in a way, if they see an interesting company, I will like DM the entrepreneur on Twitter. But I'm also seeing like what other VCs are tweeting, and VCs like to show how big their brains are, so they're always putting like interesting thought pieces
So
on
this is a
Twitter.
competition with other VCs. That's what Twitter actually is.
Yeah, VCs love to talk about how smart they are, right? And they are all really smart. So like, and I think that's how you differentiate your capital. You have to kind of show that you have enough analytic rigor and to make an investment and help an investment and know what's going on in the world. So yeah, um, that is a lot of the day though.
Have you ever thought about growing your own audience? I know that some of the my favorite VCs really try to use their audience now as a differentiator.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Howard Lenzen, for instance, he can help make a company pop.
Yeah, he's super smart.
Yeah, he's smart, but like he also has a pretty big audience.
Yeah.
So if you need a couple hundred beta users, for instance, he can just blast out a message, and then there you go.
Yeah, and that's the thing about being I think this does exist in every industry though. There's always like key opinion leaders, right? And the goal for me is like would love to be a key opinion leader one day. But um yeah, I think by being a VC you're kind of already there because you have the ability to invest. And I think people look at you that way. So yeah. It's like interesting. I think a lot of VCs talk about imposter syndrome.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I think I kind of have that. I think a lot of VCs have that. But yeah, I'm being super open on this right now.
I mean, that's the way it's supposed to work, Mark.
Yeah.
I mean, I know for me, I have imposter syndrome all the time. And I think it's an interesting line. Like there's a balance. Like I'm trying to portray myself as a smart guy, and I'm out there and I have opinions. At the same time, I'm also trying to say I don't know shit, and have that attitude because that's the way you learn.
Yeah.
And like when you're humble, like great things happen. So it's a strange line that you have to walk, and I think the VCs, for the most part, don't walk it very well. Like they end up just trying to look too smart. And so what I really appreciate about you is like I feel like that doesn't actually bother you that much. Like I don't see you like trying to be Fred Wilson right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I haven't been in the game as long as he has, and don't have the exits that he's had and things like that. But that'd be awesome to be there one day.
Have guys like Mark Suster given you advice?
No, I do read his blog though. He is very thoughtful. I think there's some VCs I talk to up north that do give me advice. Yeah, and I think I need to develop more of that. That's pretty interesting, by the way. I heard there's like a new program for VC mentoring, and it's like mentoring diverse VCs because there's not a lot of diversity in venture capital, and you can apply to this program and like get paired up with like a top tier VC, which I think would be awesome. I think it's
when do you think this is a good question for you? When do you feel like VC is going to get disrupted, like itself? Right, like love to talk about disruption. They love to invest in disruption. When does VC get, really disrupted?
I don't know. You know why? Because I think even with crypto and sorry, I laughed there, but even
do you have any crypto deals?
Yeah, before I came on, we're in one.
Did you lead it? No,
it was before I came on, but like I haven't made a crypto deal like myself. But we thought AngelList would be it. It wasn't the case, and we thought crypto would be it. It's maybe the case. I don't know, but the thing is, it's based on like all private networks too, and that's really hard to dislodge.
Yeah, it seems like to me like there's this emerging space for companies that like they're not, you know, they're not VC side, like they're not looking for like a VC sort of like an Uber like outcome.
Mhm.
At the same time, they're more than what's deemed as a lifestyle business.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and it's, it seems like there's something in between, and something interesting is happening in that particular little niche.
Yeah, did you read that one article that came out,
Yeah, yeah, that
on,
one
like,
that came out a few weeks
like,
ago.
indie VC?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you think that has legs?
I think so, because I think if you're a certain size fund, I don't think you're looking for the next Uber. You're not looking for a company to be. It's great, but maybe you're not looking for a 500x return on something. Maybe you're looking at like a bunch of safer businesses that could exit for 5 to 6x, which is good, but I'm not sure if like VCs consider that like a home run, because VC is like a power law game, right? Like two
Yeah,
companies.
and I also
Yeah.
think there's like there's an emerging group of people, especially here in Los Angeles, like well-known celebrities, athletes, and others, where they have money. They have money to invest in these deals. They also have audience. They also can like help make a deal pop.
Mm-hmm.
And so the speed is also interesting. Like these companies are blowing up faster than ever before,
Yeah.
but like maybe not on like an Uber level, like not like these giant, massive ecosystems,
Yeah.
but like really interesting companies all the same. So I think that the speed at which the money comes in, the celebrities and the different people get attached, or people with money that can make things happen. And I think that might be its own ball game
Yeah,
here in
totally.
2019, 2020.
Yeah, totally. I think that one article, that New York Times article, and like the indie VC stuff is testament with that. And there is a lot of, I guess, interesting angel money going into certain deals. Like I do see a lot of companies more so now that come into my inbox, and I'm like, not really for us. Not sure if this is VC, but you're like profitable, which is
Yeah,
like,
they're making money,
yeah,
which
they're
is
making
rare,
money. Yeah,
rare,
yeah,
right? It's
they're making
super
money.
rare.
Yeah, but on a kind of interesting point here, speaking of like trends, this like influencer as a brand, or it's like working a lot, and I'm seeing a lot more of it actually happen in the VC space. Like, for example, I think Lightspeed invested in a company that's kind of led by Lady Gaga. Do you know which one I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah. What is that thing called?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll look it up and put it
Yeah.
in the notes on this one.
Yeah, and then there's other similar deals, like there's like, I think one's called Brandable that Lightspeed did, where these influencers they're making their own products, and they have distribution through Walmart, and supposedly it's doing pretty well. It's like, that stuff is like working in this day and age.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think that I'm so bullish on that. I'm so
Yeah.
bullish on that because at the end of the day, you have to have the ability to make noise and reach an audience, and that's harder than ever. And yet you have these people that are capable of doing it, and they need to take a greater and greater ownership percentage of what they're pitching and selling.
Yep.
And that's interesting, right? Because the economics weren't there before for them.
Mm-hmm.
They were just getting like an endorsement fee.
Yeah.
And now it's totally different. Now they own it, and they're becoming smarter. I think in 10 years, like a lot of these people, like we don't think of talent as business people, but I think over the years to come, I think it will just become part of your DNA. Like you're able to do both somehow.
Yeah.
That's the evolution. I really think that.
Yeah, I think the internet definitely enabled that, because before you had to, get physical real estate, do all this other stuff, spend money on advertising, expensive advertising that you had no ROI on. Now you have like a social media manager, and there's all this stuff. You have podcasts. Right? It's like crazy. Yeah.
I tell everybody, I think of myself as a business person first and foremost, and then I'm a content creator. But that's no excuse in 2019 for me not to put out really, really good content. Like I just somehow have to figure out how to do both. And I'm trying my ass off to get better at the content piece, because it's not an excuse to be like, I'm a business guy. Like it just doesn't work that way anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot going on in the content space. And, for me, since we're looking at media and tech, intersection of media and tech, like always looking at what's going on.
What are people pitching you like in the last few weeks? Like, what are you seeing a lot of?
Good question. So have been seeing a lot in music surprisingly. A lot in voice and audio. Just the audio is the audio trend is definitely there. Have also, and I think that's because of the smart speaker and podcasts, like the Spotify news recently. And maybe I'm just like noticing more of that. Have also been seeing a lot of, it's, you and I were talking about this earlier. We've been seeing a lot of interesting private networks, and I'm actually going to write about this. I think there's an interesting.
Where do you write for people listening and watching?
I'll probably write on Medium or something.
All right. All
Yeah.
right. So go find Mark Linao on Medium.
Yeah, there's a lot of VR stuff in there right now because that's kind of what I started with. But there's, I've been seeing a lot of companies basically create their own private network, and whether that's physical or online, based on special interest groups. I think we did talk about this last time I was here, but I'm seeing way more of it in other things I didn't even think of that I would be seeing. And I think there's an overall trend that I want to write on about the evolution. People are evolving from the timeline or from the Instagram story into like private niche groups. That's super interesting to me.
Yeah, I'm all about that right now. I'll say it again. I feel like private groups is where everything is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be crazy. I think being an individual on the internet, I think we're going to look back and be like, wow, the first 25 years of the internet were all about being an individual. And moving forward, it's going to be about small groups and like your clan, right? Like if we look at these video games, like you have a clan like
Yep.
that. And I think we're going to see more and more of those. I mean, that's why chance spending, we're building different entrepreneur networks and so forth, is like, it's this idea that you have to move in a pack. And when you move in a pack, then you obviously have more power. You can get things to happen. You have people of your own kind that you can help each other. You have each
Mm-hmm.
other's back. And I think you're going to see that across every interest group known to man.
Yeah, and that's probably how, don't want to go into like evolution, but like, it's humans probably were in packs. That's how they traveled. And
Yeah, this is embarrassing, but shout out to Kevin Donahue. Kevin Donahue was the very first business development person YouTube ever hired back before they were acquired by Google. Really great guy, really smart guy. I was trying to convince Kevin Donahue back in 2008 that this was the future of the internet, and that I wanted to try to get a screenplay written where basically on the internet you start, geography doesn't matter in the future, and that people would start to vote based on their interest group. So you wouldn't vote in a state, you wouldn't vote in a country. You would actually be voting on the internet based on your interest group. And of course, that has a lot of ramifications because that's who you define yourself as. Anyways, of course, in my screenplay, madness ensued. Good thing that thing was never written because it was probably terrible. But I do think this is the long-term direction of the internet.
yeah, and yeah, to me I have to look out for that type of stuff and I have to read about that stuff. And I think I definitely wasn't the first one thinking about it, because I want to say I read something recently on it that was really well put together.
What type of groups are you seeing? Are you seeing anything you can name off your head?
Looking at, I've seen entrepreneur groups, I've seen artist groups, I've seen mother groups, I've seen working mother groups, seen pure female groups, special interest groups around video games, and the most obvious one of that is Discord is a big one, but not like I saw that one, but I'm just saying, seeing different things like that. Those are the most, I think those are the most obvious ones. I've been seeing multiple of each. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that as we see the subscription business model continue to grow on the internet and just ultimately is going to take over everything, like it goes right in line with that idea, which is when you're part of a special interest group, you're like, in essence, you're paying dues,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like if you're part of I don't know, like back in the day, like the Lions group, like these like groups of men, you paid dues or quarterly dues or like country club dues.
Yeah.
And I think that subscription lends itself very well to that.
Are you a member at Soho House, by the way?
I am not a member of
Me
Soho
neither.
House. I mean, I go there quite a bit because
Yeah.
everyone likes to invite you up there, and
Yeah.
I enjoy myself. I don't feel special there.
Yeah.
but I do have a good time there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you look at the wing and the riveter, it's like a pretty similar model. It's for females, right? So to me, and I think there's like not even a startup that's doing it, but there's a real estate developer out here in West Hollywood that bought some building to
Heard
have
about
something.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And
Yeah.
it's like not a VC back thing, but
Yeah. I think you could also argue that WeWork is that as
totally,
well, right?
yeah. It's like totally is, totally is.
I'm not sure. I personally, I mean, I'm probably too old for the WeWork demographic, but like, I don't think that's cool at all. But I do think obviously they're generating a lot of reoccurring revenue and can think of themselves in this way.
Yeah, they have a really interesting network, and they do put on events that people can meet each other. And right now there's Spaces, and there's another one. I forgot what it was called. It's like Industrial or something like that. That's some big real estate uh, companies put money into. It's a venture backed business as well, and I'm like, or Industrious. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, but they're all like, yeah, mid century modern furniture, hip, cool companies. Like,
Yeah, I think that will be the challenge is like for e-commerce, like do you really want to belong to like a mid-century furniture group? Like that is the challenge
yeah,
for them. And so I think it will be interesting to see how people define themselves, like what level. Like maybe someone who likes mid-century furniture is part of a higher level of people that feel they're, I don't know, design conscious.
yeah,
And so you would be part of a design conscious group. But it'll be interesting to see how people self-organize
yeah. Been seeing groups around plants, which I'm very interested in.
around plants.
I love plants. Yeah, I'm a plant person.
I think one of the challenges I'm working through right now on this actually, and maybe you have advice, is I've started a number of groups. I started Voice Entrepreneur as a Facebook group, has thousands of members on Facebook. That's for the voice community. It was really popular, one of the top ones. I've also started other groups. The challenge is I'm not sure any group works like online except for Facebook groups because of the way that the messages are threaded,
Mm-hmm.
because there's too much noise. Like for instance, I'm part of a WhatsApp group
Yeah,
for the MBA and it's too noisy, right? You get 10,000 messages in a night. You don't want to go through it all. It's tough to understand. It's just tough to keep track.
yeah.
The trouble is, I don't think anyone likes Facebook anymore.
I don't think so either. People
So
are off
so you
of
have
it.
this major challenge where that thread thing works. However, Facebook sucks.
Yeah. And people are organizing on Slack, by the way.
Yeah, I
Slack
think
groups, right?
Slack groups work. The trouble is there's just a high bar to like figure out how to get in.
Yeah.
Like my mom's not going to figure out how to get
Yeah.
into Slack.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder, didn't Yahoo have this like white label social network group that you could push on to any like member community
Yeah.
like way back in the day? It's almost like maybe we need something like that with that kind of UI, but with better UI, with like Facebook level UI, right?
I like that prediction that a company emerges that does that
Yeah.
very well.
And I think, did you tell me this? But I heard that Facebook is experimenting with paid groups.
That was not me.
Did you get pinged about that for any of your groups? I think if you run a big group, Facebook was like, "Do you want to test subscriptions on your group?"
Really?
That makes sense, though, right? Like, why
Right.
not? They should just take that rake and then.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely where this is going. However,
Yeah.
again, I don't know anyone that wants to be caught dead on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, I still use it, but
Yeah, I mean I'm bullish on Facebook. I own a lot of Facebook stock. I do. Disclosure right there. I think that Facebook it's going to take 2 years, but like the newsfeed is dead, and eventually they're going to get rid of that thing. And when they get rid of that thing, Facebook's going to become when they integrate with Instagram and with WhatsApp, and it becomes one thing. It's going to be really, really interesting.
yeah, I saw that. That's interesting news too, right? Where they're integrating other messaging services.
Yeah,
right?
it's going to be badass. This is why I own. I just keep buying Facebook stock. By the way,
Yeah,
I'm so bullish.
I bought some at the IPO, and then when it dipped, yeah.
Yeah.
And then so I guess, yeah, I guess it's a good hold, but yeah, because I think that the whole thing there was like, is it going to be the next like MySpace, right?
Right.
Yeah, and it was.
The trouble is,
super sticky.
Yeah. The thing is, of course it's not going to be the next MySpace. Do you know how much data that they're sitting on.
I
Do you know
know.
that Google can't touch, like Google, another unicorn, insane company, can't even touch Facebook in terms of the data they have? And so if you're Facebook, it's you own the social graph. If you own the social graph, it's a monopoly. It's a monopoly that Congress can never understand. If you own the social graph, you can just port that social graph onto, right now it's Instagram
Yeah.
and WhatsApp, but you'll just put it on anything you want for the rest of the time.
So we're talking a lot about a lot of really interesting things here. Who do you think is the next big thing if it's not Facebook? Because like now that these groups, because the way I'm seeing it is like groups are kind of disaggregating off of Facebook into these special interest groups, and no one entity owns every special instant.
Yeah,
Interest group, right?
I'm of the belief from a macro sense that we're going to see a 20-year massive roll up of subscription groups. And so on the top, you're going to have the Amazon bundle, you're going to have the Google bundle, and you might be paying, I don't know, $200 a month. And you're going to have a whole suite of services. You're going to have content, you're going to have eyeglasses, you're going to have tires, you're going to have everything under the sun, and you're going to have to pick one of them. And I think it's going to be super interesting. So from a micro perspective, I see that these private groups are going to go out there. You're going to fund them as a VC. They're going to continue to grow, and then the bigger ones will continue to get rolled up. I just think that's the course of this. All of them need to get rolled up, and so the tiny ones will even be part of the medium-sized ones, which will be part of the big ones. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Which makes me like kind of think now. I'm like, what are there other opportunities to get in on this or to be investing outside? I guess outside of the monopoly, right? Something I did see, I've been seeing a lot of as it pertains to sound. I've heard and read about a bunch of social networks but audio based. Have you seen anything like that before?
Audio-based social networks.
Yeah,
I
I don't
definitely
even know.
should know because that's my like area.
I
but
don't know
haven't
how
seen
that
it.
would work though, because I feel like you need like a visual cue to be like, this is this person's status update. But who knows? Maybe it could work out.
I mean, I've definitely seen attempts. I've seen lots of
there's a lot of
attempts.
Yeah,
I don't think it makes a lot of sense right now.
yeah.
I don't know, man. I
Because isn't that just kind of like basically a series of like micro podcasts, like in a way, right? Like yeah, like or it's basically visual voicemail.
yeah, I'm really bullish. I feel like voice needs to get into the car, and it is right now, to be clear. But once that's figured out in the next year or two, voice is going to explode in the next year or two through the car. And once that happens, and we can actually see people like learn how to quote unquote browse via voice in the car. Like we don't have browsing right now. Like you don't browse with your Amazon Echo device.
Yeah, and someone needs to figure that out.
Yeah. Once you learn browsing, and that's going to be done in the car because you're going to be sitting there in 45 minutes of traffic in your commute, and you're going to learn how to freaking talk to that thing.
I still feel like someone needs to build this. So the last company I saw before coming here was doing conversational marketing, and that's via voice and chatbots for artists and celebrities, and he's seeing some decent traction. But I haven't experienced it myself, so to me that's really interesting. If I could have a conversation with and not have to leave my house, I can go buy something, or yeah.
Yeah, I
To me,
mean, when
that
you
would be
tell
awesome. Like in a car, like that'd
Yeah.
be cool.
when you're
Yeah.
listening to Tim Ferriss, and Tim Ferriss is like, "Hey, man, for the next 20 seconds, I just want say the magic word. Just say the magic word, everybody." That's what he says to his audience, and you're like, "Fine, Tim, I'll say it. Like, I'll buy the book." Right? And then that's how you buy Tim Ferriss's book. Right then and there, you're like driving the car and you say, "I'll buy the book," and then that's
Yeah, maybe that's like you know how Amazon innovated on the buy button, like the one click to purchase. Like maybe this is like the statement to
Yeah.
purchase thing.
yeah. You have to have context in order to buy something. That's why it doesn't work right now with Amazon devices. Like you have to know why to buy it. If you just throw a bunch of shit on there, like you have no idea. Like Amazon you can buy anything in the world on Amazon. You have to know why you want to buy it. The second you know why, it becomes interesting. If Tim Ferriss tells me to go buy some vitamins, I'm gonna be like, cool. I want to buy these vitamins because Tim Ferriss told me to.
Yeah, that's he's another person that I subscribe to his email newsletters, but and I have a few that I need to go through. I'm a couple weeks behind, but yeah, I like his content too. Really
Smart
into it.
dude.
Yeah, super smart
He was
guy.
my boy back in the day, actually.
No way.
Yeah. We were pretty good friends. I haven't talked to him in a few years, but great guy. And what I like about him is he always knew, like I was friends with him right when 4 Hour Work Week came out. He just knew that there was a path for him. Because I was like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna be a self-improvement guy? And he was sort of like, you know what? I just sort of feel like there's a path for me just to be myself.
Mm,
And
that's cool.
yeah, it was really cool. I was impressed by that.
Yeah, he definitely he tapped into that. But do you think he really works only 4 hours a week?
No, I mean, no, he works 4 hours per 4 hours. So.
I would love to figure out how to work more efficiently. So I have been spending my time in like productivity tools, like not to invest in, but just personally, like what can I be doing besides?
What's your pick for the audience?
This is gonna sound so lame, but I have an Excel spreadsheet that I make like weekly to-do lists on it, and I open
That exciting new tool called Microsoft Excel.
yeah. Well, everyone's using Todoist or some other stuff like
Yeah.
Trello. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's use Excel, and I have 3 criteria like not started, in progress, or done.
Yeah.
And that's how I manage my stuff.
I love it. I use Google Keep.
Oh yeah.
You know that one?
Yeah, I've heard of it. I don't use it because I have a. Do you have an iPhone?
I have an iPhone. I still
Yeah.
like Keep. It just works for me.
Okay,
So,
cool.
I have like random ideas. I don't sleep well because I'm an idea sort of. So in the middle of the night, I found it's the easiest app to just quickly type a message and then it like keeps it the way you want it to.
Yeah, a lot of people have been telling me about that. But yeah, I mean, so just been kind of seeing a lot in the audio and voice space, which is like really interesting, and then this like private community space as well. Um, Still following a bunch of stuff in VR. I don't know did you see the recent like HoloLens news?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think? Have you tried HoloLens too?
No, I'm excited about it though.
Yeah, it seems a lot better.
Yeah.
Field of vision.
Yeah, the field of vision is bigger or wider, and I I kind of think I'm more bullish now on VR and immersive again. My friends recently had a birthday party at Two Bit Circus. Do you know what I'm
Yeah, of
talking
course.
about?
To describe 2-bit circus to everybody.
Two Bit Circus it's almost like an arcade, but a techie version of an arcade. Think of Chuck E. Cheese for adults, but there's like a robot that serves drinks, and there's like VR games. It's I think run by
The Atari's
yeah
founder's son.
yeah.
No, well, that was
Is it no,
Nolan
I think it's
Bushnell.
Nolan Bushnell or something
Yeah.
like that. One of the Bushnell brothers, and I've met Tyler. He's cool from
Awesome.
yeah. He has like he's starting a company too, but it's really interesting because it was packed. It was a very diverse group set, and my friends who aren't in tech are like, "Hey, you know a lot about the space. When is a VR headset coming out that I should buy?" Like, I think it kind of might have. The nice thing is that they're educating the market, at least the local
Yeah.
market here on it. Yeah.
We're actually doing a Chance Bending VR episode tomorrow. I'm going to be sitting down with Jeremy Welt. Do you know Jeremy?
No, who's that?
He was the guy, he did a whole bunch of VR through Walmart the last few
Oh,
years.
yeah.
Really, really smart guy. He was one of the original Maker Studios. He was like the original like head of marketing
Oh,
for
cool.
Maker Studios back in the day. Super smart dude. Good friend of mine. We chop it up. We experiment on stuff together. And I think he has a bunch of really interesting ideas in this space.
Is he no longer at Walmart?
No, he right now he recently left and he's working on new stuff. So I'm excited to see what he has going.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I personally like I love that idea that in Fortnite, that was basically VR. There's just
the
no
Marshmallow
Google.
concert
Yeah, the
thing?
marshmallow, that is
Oh,
VR,
that is-
right?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that is VR. So That seems interesting. I'm like you. I'm sort of thinking like VR is going to happen, but it's not going to happen exactly the way we want it to happen.
Yeah.
Just like straight goggles. I think it's just sort of emerging of all of these ideas that we're talking about. I know for me, like we haven't even talked. Live streaming is just popping right now.
Oh, yeah, like more so than before.
It's so natural. It's so, and people are spending money through it. People are feeling comfortable. Like even my dad figured it out like recently.
What was your dad
Well, I mean,
using?
my dad was using like a telephone answering machine. Like my dad is ancient, and finally he figured out FaceTime, which I know sounds like not a big deal, but
Oh,
it's like
okay.
just like a very natural progression. Like, and I feel like people now feel really comfortable talking to people
Mhm.
through video and through live stream, and so I'm just so bullish there all of a sudden. And
Yep.
I think we don't talk about it as much because it sort of feels like it's just part of what we're doing.
Mhm.
But it just seems like to me it's accelerating right now.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very bullish on the space, obviously. I think I mentioned that we were part of BetaWorks Live Camp.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
so
jealous. I'm jealous on that
yeah,
one.
so there's a lot of interesting things going on. It's weird. I'm not a millennial. Or I guess I am technically a millennial, but like my younger friends, they'll like just straight up like FaceTime each other, and I'm not like totally okay with doing that in public yet, but some people are.
I'm glad you brought this up. I feel like people are comfortable in like just in the last like 6 months. People are just FaceTiming like out in public all the fucking time.
Yeah, it's I'm seeing a lot of it.
It's a thing.
People are FaceTiming, and I'm like, they're FaceTiming, and they see traffic behind them, and like they don't really care.
My mother-in-law FaceTimes out at dinner.
It's so funny.
Isn't that crazy? I guess it's on.
What do you think? What do you think is what prohibits you from picking up a FaceTime call? Because I always like decline all of them.
What prevents me? I mean, I'm not trying to toot my horn. Now that I have this audience through chance bending, I get so many weirdos. So like I have to make sure that I'm careful about who I talk to and who I don't talk to.
Okay.
Because I'll get weird people that will want to pitch me from India for like an hour and a half on, something crazy.
Well, yeah. Well, because interesting. Because I was talking with a company, and there's a few companies in this space, but I think last time I was here, we talked about avatars, right? So
Yeah.
imagine. I wonder if I had an avatar up that the other person saw, and I would be okay with FaceTiming. I know there's something very personal about it, and the thing is, I do pick up for certain people, but not for everybody. But is there a way to do it for everyone? Because it is like a cool, like engaging experience, right?
Yeah. Avatars do need some work where like you just like I'm not sure that they have to look realistic. You just have to sort of be individual, right? Because if you always knew it was me, then I think you'd be comfortable with my avatar. You'd be like, oh yeah, that's Ben. When I talk to Ben on FaceTime, he looks like a half monkey, half alien, or whatever
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is,
But if I knew
But
that
like
was
that has to
you,
be me,
yeah,
and no one else can be that.
yeah. But yeah, and that's funny. You mentioned that scenario because back in the day was like we were just remember like on AOL Instant Messenger, it's like you had this like picture,
Yeah,
and that was like your avatar. It was like a
yeah,
stupid picture in this status, whatever, of perpetual status update that was there.
yeah,
Right? Yeah, and like is live streaming that allows you to have a dynamic avatar in a way, and I think I'd be more open to talk to people if I had an avatar, like to talk to anybody.
yeah, yeah.
I
And
don't
as long
know.
as I knew it was you, like that's the thing about a face. Like when I see your face, I know it's you and only you,
Yeah.
right? You can't have anyone copy your avatar.
Yeah,
That's
so I'm 100% looking at this space. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm like, is there an opportunity or is there a world that we exist that I have a digital representation of myself, and then I have, for everyone else that I meet online or via electronic means in the world, and do I just reserve my real self for people I know in real life?
like taking off your clothes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
But I'm just thinking about that, and I think about that weird stuff all the time. In
It's
my
dope,
day,
man.
yeah, because I'm thinking about all this little Michaela stuff, and I'm like, that's awesome, but is it like how does everyone else benefit from it besides being like a virtual celebrity?
Yeah. I don't know. I still I feel like it's just not there yet, but
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, just some thoughts right there.
Yeah. Well, Mark, I hate to cut this short, but I've got to run. We're interviewing a new person here at Chance Ben.
Oh,
And
nice.
yeah, it's gonna be exciting, man. We're growing. So yeah. And so for people that are curious, where can they find you again?
You mean my email address?
No, not your email. Well, if you want to give your email, but I mean like your Medium or your Twitter or your Instagram. Like, how do you want people to follow you?
I'm at Mark Linao on Twitter. Yeah, I would be. Yeah, if I could grow my Twitter account, just plug it there. Yeah,
All right,
it'd be awesome.
Mark A. Linao,
Yeah, I actually have.
Linao.
Yeah, and I'm not like every other Twitter person. I actually use capital letters.
This man is a VC with heart. This man is a VC who actually is just a sweet kind man.
I'm a contrarian VC.
A contrarian VC, a little panda bear. Mark, let's do this again.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having
All
me.
right, man. All right, have a good one.